So what we're going to be doing in this video is diving into a bunch of tweets, a bunch of thoughts, and two very interesting Reddit posts. So we're busting out the Streamlabs once again, not doing the entire Adobe Audition regular commentary with the graphics. Instead, we are just using my MacBook screen as the source of the video. But today we are talking about the Red Wings. And if you had seen the channel, the video that we made yesterday, we spoke about the very first game that Todd McLellan had as the head coach of the Red Wings. It was, unfortunately, yet another loss. It was a weird loss, because the Wings sucked for the first 40 minutes against Toronto. Then they found themselves a pretty strong hold on the game in the third period, thus providing Todd McLellan with both the best and the worst that the Wings can offer. The highs and the lows. It's all right here in this game. But before the game actually began, there were some really interesting comments made by Steve Yzerman. There were some interesting discussions held on social media and on especially Reddit, so we're going to be diving into all that here in this video. Steve Yzerman kind of snapped back a little bit yesterday in the press conference heading into the game against Toronto, and there was a quote going around, "If you have a better way, you're free to share it with me, okay?" Essentially, Yzerman talking to a reporter about the status of the Yzer plan and how Yzerman is opening the door. Hey, if you have a better way to run this hockey team, tell me, I'm all ears. He's sarcastic about it. He kind of snaps back at the reporter about it, and you had yourselves the social media response going out there that's pretty negative. Of course, this was posted onto Spit and Chicklets, retweeted from the Wing Wheel podcast, and Spit and Chicklets, of course, these guys are not necessarily Detroit-focused. Winged Wheel is, so the responses from both of the podcasts are kind of different. Fans need to stop assuming that good players automatically make good coaches or GMs. If that was the case, Gretzky would have won 3 cups with the Coyotes. No team has done less with their draft picks than the Red Wings under Yzerman. Couple that with bad free agent signings and you have a habitually underperforming team. Yzerman brought Lalonde over with him from Tampa Bay, despite never having been named an NHL coach. He has been bad. Don't question the Yzer plan, quote-unquote. And the Yzer plan is did not qualify, times 2. It's a lot of did not qualifies over here. Sherratt, Comfer, Hall, Kopp, and Petrie, they'll fix everything. Make a blockbuster trade. I liked him better as a player. That's the spirit, Steve. There's a lot going on here in terms of the optics of the Detroit Red Wings, and it gets even crazier when you take a look at some of the other tweets that have been going viral, like this one. Things I would have done if I were the GM of the Wings. Not sign Sherratt, not sign Hall, not trade for Petrie, not sign Comfer, not sign Kopp, not trade Wallman, which gives you $17 million in cap room, and I would have drafted Benson over Danielson. Hire me at Detroit Red Wings. And you can see the overwhelmingly positive response onto this tweet, 1,000 likes and everything. The Wings needed veteran guys to show the way on and off the ice, but there had to be better options than Sherratt, Hall, and Petrie. At least Comfer is very good defensively. Some young players can feed off of that. Also, I wouldn't have signed Kane either. Yeah, I don't hate the idea of signing veteran players, but it shouldn't be the number one priority, nor should they sign objectively bad players to bad contracts. This also was discussed by Ryan Hanna of the Wing Wheel pod. Yzerman says he understands and respects the fan base and opinions of those who think the Yzerman plan is taking too long, and that they're trying to make the right decisions and do things as quickly as they can, while acknowledging that it's a non-linear process. So, Stevie Y, of course, had this segment yesterday, but now you have yourselves comments and posts made on, for example, the R Detroit Red Wings subreddit like this from an hour ago. Is Steve Yzerman the problem? I'm just respectfully posing this question. I would like to hear your thoughts. The top comment from Real Brumpo Tungus, I'm not too sure what that means, says that Todd McLellan has been this team's head coach for approximately 45 seconds. Mid-season coaching changes are never a good sign for immediate success. I know we hate to keep waiting, but give the guy a little time to put his flavor on this team. If we make the playoffs, great. If not, this is going to be a critical offseason. In my opinion, the question as to whether or not Steve Yzerman has been the problem In the short term, yes. Long term, no. He's been preaching the exact same strategy and timeline since he started. This year has certainly not gone to plan so far. He said the goal was to compete for a wildcard spot, so he made a change and it's likely we'll see more coming now that the roster freeze is lifted. I think it's fair that people are becoming impatient and questioning a lot of his moves, especially in free agency this year. I'm really curious to see how the questionable signings of this offseason, Tarasenko, Gustafsson, and even a bit of Kane, may be impacted by the coaching change, mostly Tarasenko. I think he was very poorly utilized in the beginning, and I wonder how better deployment might help him regain his form. When you look at the other bad signings, Kopp, Sherrod, Hall, Petrie, to me, you have to remember that in a lot of those cases we legitimately did not have any better options. So that addresses some of the other discourse that was happening on Twitter. We had no one in the pipeline who was remotely ready to play top 4 defense or middle 6 center, and getting a legitimate player for those roles could have mortgaged our future and gone against Steve's overall plan, which was to acquire assets to build and develop through the draft. We needed players to specifically fill gaps in our roster to buy time. Yeah, we could have gone more all-in during that time period and tried to truly compete, but it would have been short-term gains for more long-term pain. I totally understand people's frustration with the state of the team. I'm frustrated too. Yzerman is frustrated, I'm sure. When you preach patience from day one and are repeatedly asking when it will be done, it's frustrating. It comes down to asking, what do you want from the team? If you want short-lived success, I'd be super pissed at Yzerman right now. If you want a chance at a strong long-term contender, that's where we're heading, hopefully. Now, this is not the only Reddit post that was posted that I think is interesting to talk about, because also yesterday you had yourselves this post. Here's a scalding hot take from Ephesus. Dylan Larkin deserves some heat. I know this will likely get downvoted to hell because Larkin along with Yzerman are unable to be criticized here, but I'm sending it anyways. Larkin has been somewhat underwhelming in his leadership role this season. You should probably throw a number of vets into this, to be honest. I say that because when Larkin is excelling at being the captain, it's visible to the naked eye. He's vocal, he brings energy to the bench, you see it on the ice after the whistle, he very clearly sets the tone for the team, and the more of a presence Larkin is, even if it's not on the stat sheet, the better the team plays. This season, out of the gate, that presence has been almost completely absent. Coaching aside, Larkin holds some responsibility for the effort level of his team. Hopefully the coaching change reinvigorates Larkin, but in my opinion, he's underperforming as the captain right now. He has been bypassed by Seider this season as the player with the most given F, and I think Mo's given F meter is about the same as always. It's everyone else that's fallen behind. This is assuming that personal life isn't to blame. I know he's been through a rough couple of years on and off the ice, and I can understand that takes a toll on his mental. I wanted to dive into this post and some of the comments from Red Wings fans about Dylan Larkin to end off this video here. I'm not disagreeing with the feeling that Larkin hasn't been up to his usual leadership level this season, but I do wonder how much of that is a reflection of the room being lost in general under Lalonde. I'm holding off on judgment until we see how things change under Todd McLellan. I think of how despondent and exhausted he was in the game where he scored a goal with 30 seconds left, asked for a timeout, and Lalonde said no. I imagine there was a lot of games or moments where he felt defeated because of what Lalonde was preaching, and it came to a head. But I do agree, as the captain, you are meant to push through that. I think anyone who has worked under crappy management or leadership could empathize with Larkin to some degree. And I did think that was an interesting talking point. I wanted to bring it up on the YouTube channel just to get some conversations going in the comments section, whether or not Dylan Larkin deserves to be kind of called out in this way. I mean, Dylan Larkin deserves some heat. Do you agree or disagree? You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. There is some blame on him, sure, but he didn't pick this roster, and he doesn't even get to mix and match lines. How many times is he supposed to get all the rah-rah and peel the paint in the room when he knows a Petrie or a Gustafsson is going to provide the other team with 2 quality scoring chances a night, Tarasenko was going to decide backchecking is optional, or Husso was going to let in an inexplicable stinker, no matter what he says or does? I agree, it seems like Larkin is retreating to a secondary role, not getting the team amped up when needed or leading by example. Also, Mo and Casper are the 2 players I feel give 110% each shift on the ice. Up 3 or down 6, they play like it's 2-1 and the game is on the line. I love that from the young guns. It's hard to boil water when your coach is poking holes in the boat. That, I think, might be one of the most proverbial ways to talk about Dylan Larkin this season, but I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on Steve Yzerman snapping back at the reporter? What are your thoughts on Dylan Larkin and whether or not he deserves to be called out like this? Thoughts in the comment section below about the Wings and the current state of the team, and do you see this getting better under Todd McLellan? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. 9 and bye.